Hello everybody, it's Doc here from OnTheMoneyOptions.com, and today we're going to take a look at how to spot a legitimate stock breakout to the upside. There are three things that I want to look for. The first thing that I want to see is I want to see that the stock breaks above a previous high and puts in a higher high. The next thing I want to see is I want to see the breakout on increasing volume, both in the stock and the options, and we're going to look at both of them today. And the last thing I want to see is I want to see the technical analysis on the stock in agreement with what's going on. So today we're going to take a look at Arcadia Pharmaceuticals. It had a nice breakout today, and we're going to walk you through those pieces. This is a chart of Arcadia. On the left is the weekly chart. On the right is the daily chart. The weekly chart to me is more important. It gives you more information about a long-term trend. And what I want you to focus on, both on the weekly chart and the daily chart, is that the price of Arcadia moved to a higher high and did so on good, strong volume. And this is a real key to spotting whether or not there's a legitimate breakout. This could be short covering, or it could just be buying pressure. There was some good news that came out on Arcadia in the last couple of days. So this indicates that there's a potential reversal. We're also looking at the MACD here on the weekly on the left, and you see that it is crossed above zero. This is very important to me to see that we're seeing some long-term momentum come into the stock. Now this is the option chart. I talked about wanting to see both volume from the stock and volume from the options kick in. And what I want you to notice here and focus on is that you can see that the calls were considerably larger than the options, than the put options. But more importantly, you can go inside that and get some information that's very important. If you'll look at the figure right here, you can see this is the calls and what percent of the calls were purchased or were traded at the ask. When they trade at the ask, that basically means that someone is buying the call. So we see here that 58% of the calls were at the ask, and that's a very bullish sign. You can also look down here into the delta area and see what levels were purchased. And as you can see here, in the money really starts at 50 delta. So I'm going to count 11, 21, nearly 40% of all of the calls that were purchased today were deep in the money. And that's another sign that you're seeing some evidence of a real good breakout. One of the other things that you can look at is if you look at the puts, 41% of the puts today were traded at the bid. And that typically means that the puts were sold. And when they're sold, that's generally a bullish indication. And as you can see here, most of the puts were sold below the money in the 0 to 40 delta range. So this, all in all, looks very bullish. If you look over here at the Sizzle Index, this is toss, you can see that calls were almost 5 times more than their average. So all of this looks pretty bullish. Now, the last thing we're going to look at, we've looked at option volume and option activity and the characteristics of the options and what type of bias that we see, which appears to be a bullish bias. And now I want to look at the 5-minute chart and look at where the price moved and the kind of volume. You'll see over here that at the end of the day, we traded 2.5 million shares on a 90-day average of 1.78 million. So the volume today was well above the average. Another important thing that I want you to know, and if you don't know about this, is that we're going to talk about the opening range. Basically from 9:30 to 10 o'clock is where the big institutions trade in the morning, and then late in the afternoon right at the close. It's very important that you know where this opening range was from 9:30 to 10. And as you can see from this chart, about 2 o'clock this afternoon we popped back above the opening range, and that's another bullish sign. Just for information purposes, I thought I would show you what the last minute of the close looked like. If you look up here at the top, you'll see the bid size and the ask size. This is the actual market working. This is the market makers buying and selling stocks and bringing people together. And what I want you to notice is over on the right-hand side of this is this histogram shows how much volume traded at each price. And one of the things I want you to notice is here at the top, you can see that The largest trading today was at 26.71, which was very near the highs for the day. So that's an encouraging sign that there was a lot of buying volume at 26.71. So what you're watching here is generally in the last few seconds, you will see the mutual funds come in and the bid and ask size blew up, and then this is the actual close. So these are the things that you look for when you're looking for a stock breakout. You can do this after the market hours and see all of this information. And so what I see here with Arcadia is that it had a very positive today, both on price and volume. The options were good. They had a very bullish bias, and the volume was strong. So this looked like a legitimate breakout to me, and this is something that you could keep an eye on for the next few days to see how this stock does. This stock at this level with this activity today, I think represents a good opportunity to get into a healthcare stock. So anyway, this is how to spot a legitimate breakout to the upside of a stock.